And let me give you a real live example. Grandparents own property that they'd like to transfer to grandkids, but one parent is still alive. That parent is in San Quentin for murdering the daughter of the grandparents. All right, but they can't transfer the property from the parents to the grandparents to the grandkids because one of the parents, blood parent, is in jail. That's something that I would like to see changed. It's not something that I can lead, but it certainly ought to be done. Prop 60. Okay? If you're over the age of 55, I don't see anybody in here. That was a great line when I was running for re-election. You can transfer your principal residence to one of equal or lesser value. Here's the way it works. Market value to market value. The one you sell, if you buy one either simultaneously or in the first year, month 1 to 12, you can buy one for 105% of the one you sold. If you do it between month 12 and 24, which is the maximum, you can do it for 110%. Fair market value to fair market value. Now understand, the assessor in every county by law is required to assess property at its fair market value, where we call full cash value. There's lots going on now. If you have short sales, if you take advantage of somebody when you buy a property because they're sick or they have to dump a property or they have to do it in it, and you buy it for less than the fair market value, we will assess it at the fair market value. And that begs the question, of course, if you overpay for a property, will you assess it lower? And the answer is yes. Doesn't happen very often, but I've seen it happen on some very expensive homes, as a matter of fact, during the dot-com boom. So just remember that. If you're $1 off, I can't help you. And I've heard horror stories. In fact, I know a story of a broker that convinced a woman, single woman, to buy a house before she sold the one she had. So that was equal value. You don't get the 105 or 110%. And you know, you can see what's going to happen here. She bought the house. There was enough spread between the one she was going to sell. During the dot-com bust, the market dropped, and she ended up taking about a $400,000 assessed value into about a $3 million assessed value because she got screwed. And so you got to be very careful to make sure that you leave that enough spread that it works. Myths about reassessment, how to avoid reassessment. Obviously, the fair market value issue that I just explained is one of them. Leaving one wall standing doesn't work. I don't know where the hell they got it. I'm told that you might be able to reduce your building permits costs or your school fees or something like that. I don't know that, but the assessor will get you. If you leave one wall standing, you got a new house. And I talked about the remodel situation this year against my strong opposition. The county enacted a $30 fee to file an assessment appeal. I think, assessments and appraisals is more an art than a science. And I believe that if somebody is legitimately overassessed, and we do that, and we don't do it on purpose, it's that way, they shouldn't have to pay a fee to get it right, to get it righted. But if you go down there now, you'll pay a $30 fee. The number of appeals are down because the frivolous appeals where people say, I'm going to just take a shot and see what happens. Back during the 1995-96 area, when we had so many appeals, some people would file an appeal because there's a 2-year statute of limitations. You've got to have that appeal resolved within 2 years, or the taxpayer's opinion of value holds. So people were filing appeals hoping that they'd just get caught up in the system. The appeal form is real easy. It's one page. Basically says, here's what the assessor has my property assessed for, here's what I think it's worth. So people were putting down $1, 0, and in Orange County, because they were so overwhelmed, the assessor lost $10 million in taxes, not because the stuff ran the statute. Wow. He didn't have enough staff to send folks to defend appeals, and I was a brand new assessor, and somebody brought in an article from the Orange County Register that said assessor loses $10 million in taxes, and I'm meeting with my senior managers, and I said that will not happen here. Just one more thing, and then I'll take any questions you've got. Where does the money go, as I'm asked a lot? We have property tax revenue, what happens? 45% of all property tax revenue generated in this county goes to the state to fund public education, Prop 13. About 14% goes to cities, but it varies widely. I'm not sure why. It has to do with some situation that existed back before Proposition 13 passed. 18% of the property tax revenue comes to the county itself to fund county programs. 10% goes to redevelopment agencies. Again, it varies. 7% to community colleges and 6% to special districts. So that's where the money goes. Most people think it goes to fund local services. It really doesn't. And that's, again, Proposition 13 put a lot of the control over what we do into the hands of the state rather than locally. With that, I'll answer any questions.
Short questions. Okay. Dan?
If somebody does a lot line adjustment and winds up with 2 separate parcels, should they be taxed on vector control twice and libraries twice and everything else?
I don't know the answer to that question. That's a question for the tax collector. Doesn't seem like if you have a lot line adjustment, I mean, are both of those buildable parcels?
Only the one. The other one is just...
Short answer, I don't know the answer to that question, but if you wanted to find it out, call the tax collector's office. Yeah.
Right.
Prop 60, Prop 90, what counties are participating in?
All right, there's only 6 left, okay? What was happening is people were selling 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses in Sunnyvale and going up to Calaveras County and buying a mansion or building a mansion. Let me see if I can do this. They're usually places that are either the cost of living is just about the same as it is here, or places you don't want to live, you know. But it's
Orange County, LA County.
LA, Orange, San Mateo, Alameda,
Kern?
no,
Fresno?
Fern's not in. Monterey was the one that went out about 5 years ago. That was a big thing.
How about Fresno?
No,
No.
no. I usually have that down here, and I kept trying to do it.
Santa Clara,
San Diego is one, yeah.
Not Modoc.
Modoc was for, until up about a couple of years ago. People were going up there and,
That's a fun place. There's nobody there.
Santa Cruz County.
no.
Here's Adam.
Santa Cruz dropped out.
That's okay. So anyway, all right, quick answer for the long question. There you go. Okay, good. Hello, Adam. Good to see you. We'll talk about you in a minute. Don't leave. Okay, other questions? I thought that was pretty thorough. Heidi, you have a question?
Yeah, you can clap now.